Welcome to the RSP NFL Lens. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take a look at Jerry Jeudy, the rookie out of Alabama with the Denver Broncos, checking out a couple of games from him. And you're going to see right away he's going to play tight to the formation often in this Broncos offense, have him work across the middle and then to the outside from this tight spot. It's a nice alignment for a player like Jeudy because he's very good in the middle of the field in terms of being able to read zones and find a place to settle. But he also is the type of guy that needs to make a lot of moves to really generate that early separation. So if you can get him paired with a safety, or you can get him paired with in a zone situation where he can work the intermediate area of the field without having to do a lot of that movement, you can align him into this inside area and get some good work out of him. You're going to see him here. He's going to break across the middle on this route against the zone. He's going to work past the safety here who's working up the field here, really assigned to the back. And then you can see Drew Lock, looking over to that deep, peeking to that deep route up the left sideline, and then coming back to Jeudy right here. And Judy's wide open, makes the grab, takes a little contact, bounces off of that, and gets the first down. Now, you can look at this route and say one of the things that's good about Jeudy is his concentration, because on routes like this, when he's breaking across the middle, oftentimes you'd like to ideally get him the ball really right here. And then he can have an opportunity to really make the safety miss and have a lot more room to operate. But oftentimes what happens is that this is usually the second or third route in the route combination when they draw up a play. And you can see that Locke, when he begins his play, he's going to check the middle first and see that the safety hasn't changed his alignment post-snap. They're still having a too high look here that's kind of split. One's dropping down, though. But he eyeballs that guy. Then gives a quick look to that left side, and you can see that the safety's already reacting to Jeudy, but when he sees what Locke is doing, he actually hesitates and gives a peek over to that sideline area, and then Locke comes back to Jeudy. And that little hesitation doesn't really help Jeudy all that much. In theory, you could probably say, once he sees this split safety look, give a peek early to the outside, and then come back to Jeudy now. And if that ball arrives like about right here or right here, there's more time, but it's about another 2 to 3 steps later. But Jeudy handles it just fine. And you really do have to be comfortable with those late types of throws in traffic when you're playing in the slot. You just kind of have to expect that. And Jeudy has that feel. You can see him, work tight around the second level defender. That's important, and it's something that people don't think about often, but when you're playing zone, when you talk about finding that open spot, part of finding that open spot is creating that opening. You know you're going to have a safety who's playing over you. You know you have a second-level defender. Once you get to a spot where that defender is dropping and finishes drop, you want to really get as tight as you can to him so that you maximize that space with the safety. And you can see as he works across here, Locke is anticipating this throw right past the linebacker. Jeudy does a good job of kind of framing the separation, kind of putting his arm on the back of the linebacker so that they don't collide and that he can kind of gauge that and work around it. And he does a great job being friendly on this play. I mean, this is really some textbook zone stuff, and there is a craft to running zone routes. And this is really nice because, again, he gives a little bit of a look of going deep. Watch him come off the line, pads over the knees. He's still selling deep so that safety does push back because you want to maximize that room because the safety's going to close at some point. So keeping him on his heels is a good thing. Then making that tight turn around the first defender, establishing that, that frame of separation, putting your hand on the back of the linebacker, fine. You're not pushing. You're just making sure that you don't run into him, collide body to body, and disrupt your stride. But watch him turn his body right there. Turns his shoulders right here. Keeps his shoulders turns. And then as the ball gets even closer, look how his back is completely to the safety here. And even as he catches it and it comes a little behind him, he's a friendly target. That makes it easy for his quarterback. He's a very quarterback-friendly player. Now, the problem is he drops the football. And so we're going to take a look at what happens there from the red zone view here. But the route is great. All the way up to where he has to make the catch. And why? Because the ball's behind him. Locke throws it a little bit late, a little bit behind, makes it a little bit more of a difficult throw or a target for him to catch. He gets his hands on it, but just fights the ball in. It's a little bit of a difficult play for a rookie. It's the kind that you want to see a player make, and a player like Jeudy can make this, but he just did not anticipate the ball being to the back shoulder the way it was. You can see that he had his hands out as if it was going to be right at chest level. But yeah, should have caught it. But all the way up to that point, you can see that everything he does with the route is repeatable. It's scalable. It's the type of thing that you can count on. This part will get better. This is not usual for Jeudy. And again, we're going to see another route where this is an over route that works from the slot right all the way across. And you have to be patient but ready as a receiver who runs these types of routes, because you could get the ball at this window, you can get the ball at this window, or you can get the ball late, like right here near the sideline on an over route like this. And so you have to be ready for it immediately, but then you have to keep working and trying to keep a friendly target, keep a flat break, keep your shoulders kind of turned as much as possible to the route. And he does that well, takes the contact and comes down with it. So he rebounds nicely from the first drop that we saw. We're going to watch it from this end zone view, and you can see him working across right here. He's turning and looking for the ball here, looking for the ball here. There it arrives. Defender over his shoulder. Still makes the grab, stays in bounds. Pretty good technique with the boundary here. Kind of shortens his stride a bit and gives a little bit of a drag with that foot that's closer to the quarterback, and then the downfield foot as well. Good job. And one of the things that was questioned about Jeudy from some draft analysts, because they just didn't see enough exposures, is his toughness, his ability to take contact. You didn't see a lot of it on tape. You really had to dig for it. Sometimes in the Alabama spring game was where you'd see more of the after contact type of catches. But here he is, bottom left, works inside, gets square to the quarterback between the linebacker and the zone cornerback. And then he has to reach for that ball and extend right into the teeth of where the linebacker's pursuing. And he takes a hard shot to his ribs. Still comes down with the ball. So that's the great thing, you get to see with Jeudy is, can he make these tough plays? And certainly when you play an AFC North team, generally you're going to have to deal with that. And look at that. The extension right in towards the linebacker. Excellent hands technique. Turns his body away to protect himself, but takes a shot kind of like just below the armpit and where that rib area is, and just landed at the right shot. Probably knocked the air out of him. Probably bruised his ribs a little bit too. Look at the hands technique, though. Look how close they are to the ball. Great technique, and even with the threat of having to deal with Devin Bush. And Bush is going to lay the lumber. Clean hit. Good play. Awesome by Jerry Jeudy. And like I said, when they put Jeudy on the inside, especially in this trips look where he's like tight to the line of scrimmage, you can sneak him out of the backfield and looks like this. And that's exactly what the Denver Broncos do on this particular play. You're going to see him block down and give a little chip to the outside linebacker. And then that frees him up to work on the little arrow route to the outside. Makes a catch. Very nice transition to spin inside of the linebacker there and make Devin Bush miss. Gets 9 yards on the play. Let's look at it one more time here. Delayed release, arrow route catch. Catches it about helmet level. Very nice there. And he anticipates Bush, coming to the outside, knowing that he's the quicker, more agile player, and makes that little turn outside in. Spins off a defender, makes Bud Dupree miss, I think. Very nicely done. Look at it from this angle here. You get that little chip on Bud Dupree. Nice extension for the ball. There's that two-step turn. Shifty player for sure. This is a play you'd like to have back, but Jeudy does a good job. He reads the nickel defender who is going to, from the slot, blitz over here. He runs his route breaking inside the quick slant. Gets his hands up towards the ball. It's a little higher than he expected. Instead of getting the ball really ahead of it, in front of his head, he catches it at a middle window, like just above his head. Makes it a tougher grab for him. Goes through his hands. And he's had a couple of drops in this game. He had a couple of drops, big drops against Tennessee earlier too. But, this was a little bit, again, the 2 targets that he dropped, a little bit on the difficult side, but still expected for him, especially now with Courtland Sutton out. He's going to have to be the man. And let's take a look at this Titans game. This was his debut. You're going to see some of those drops. You're also going to see a little bit of roughness here with his break. Kind of stumbles out of that break on that little stop route here, but he still makes the catch. Gets the first down. A little rough. This is kind of what you'd expect first game. He gets first game jitters or just kind of getting acclimated to the speed of everything. Causes you to overthink certain aspects of the game, and it causes things that are established about your game on film from college tape to break down a little bit. This is just normal, but he does a good job of handling it. Here's another one of those drops. You're going to see him middle trips left here. Got a defender playing tighter to him. Gives a cup too quick to the outside, works inside the defender, and then he makes that nice break inside. Good attack of the ball. Look at where the hands are. That's where they should be. And he just turns a little too early. Doesn't fully secure the ball when he turns upfield, and it causes him to drop. A little concentration lapse. Got a little too ahead of himself again. These are typical rookie mistakes. These are things that you should expect from young receivers no matter how good they are in college. So there he is, extends for the ball, tries to turn his head upfield before he fully secures it, and he drops it. You can tell he's just angry with himself. All right, you're going to see a release down below here by Jeudy. He's in slot left playing with a man playing tight with single high safety, and he makes a really nice release here. Kind of doubles up here with a hesitation. Gets the man outside, kind of a diamond release where you go outside in. Gets open, makes the catch at helmet level. Good job there. Makes the first man miss. This is a nice play. 21 yards on the play. I love the release. We're going to watch the release one more time here. You're going to kind of have a hesitation. And another one there. Really good jab to that outside with it. Makes first man miss with that short area quickness. Good job diving back inside, pulling through the reach there. Gotta like that. This is the kind of bread and butter play you're going to see a lot from Jerry Jeudy in terms of his quickness to earn a good release inside and then skill after the catch. And gets 11, 12 yards after the catch on that play. Beautiful play. It's a nice play to look at, especially after the last one we saw where he made a couple guys miss and he had a really quick release. He's a patient but sudden mover. But when you talk about players like Jeudy, people get really excited when they see a guy with quickness and moves because they think, oh, he's going to make defenders miss all over the place in the NFL. And sometimes he will, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen all the time. Here's a linebacker. Tries to do that patient but sudden movement inside. He gets wrapped up, loses 2 yards on the play against a linebacker. So just keep in mind that they're playing much better version of athletes in the NFL, guys who are far better trained, far more mentally quick in terms of processing, technically much better, athletically often better. The baseline athleticism is definitely much higher. So what Jeudy had success with at Alabama isn't always going to be the case against even the Tennessee Titans of the world. And here's the drop late in the game with Jeudy. That was talked about a lot, and I think in the media early on. He gets open, but again, tries to look downfield too soon here. But he, again, makes that little diamond release. 3 steps upfield, upside, breaks back in. Just too hasty and not as careful and detailed with his hands on the ball as he should be. He was anticipating this open space he was going to get and making a big play. Rookie mistake. So what you see from Jerry Jeudy is he's a good young player. He's going to have to step up his game a little bit more with Courtland Sutton out. he's going to be the man, but they're going to continue to use him inside where he's really valuable, where he can get two-way goes and get open, where he can get yardage after the catch, where he can work open in the zones and give you multiple windows of opportunity to catch the football. He's very astute in that area. So far, he's off to a pretty good start, just making some rookie mistakes that you should expect from young players in terms of just catching the ball and getting upfield because you're trying to make a play. But I think he'll fix those things, and the Denver Broncos got themselves a fine young wide receiver who should give them many years of production if all goes as expected. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP NFL Lens videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, at my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.